Cheers, mess. Right, thank you all for coming today again, whether that's by choice or by force, I'm not sure, but it'll be an enjoyable afternoon, I'm sure. So today's lecture, we're going to have to do something a bit different. We're going to be talking about Brexit for the next 45 minutes or so enjoy. So the proceedings of the debate will be, first we'll have the Remain side giving their opening statement, and then we'll go over to the Leave side who'll give their opening statement. We'll then go into crossfire, where they'll start shouting at each other and mudslinging and all the rest of it. And then shortly after we'll go on to audience question and answers. Okay, and then we'll get the closing statement from both sides, and then we'll all be off for lunch. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Remain side, which is, we've got Beatrix Kinsman, Daniel Chadwick, Zoe Hiskett, and Jack Corbett. On the Leave side, we've got Levi Kersham, Brandon Hall, Cian O'Connor, and Conor McBride. So we'll now go on to the Remain side for the opening statements. So have you got the microphone?
So, what we're arguing for is staying in the EU. We believe that the EU is bureaucratic and expensive. It's subject to the UK is subject to EU rules, and many Brits are unhappy with it. But it has, however, has an immense amount of clout and could shape the future of Europe. Within the EU, the UK is a superpower able to rival global threats like China and Russia. Our political and economic power is so vastly extended by the EU. The UK government has ignored several past referendums, so why now do we follow a questionable result, leave an alliance and a trade agreement that has empowered us for decades? The benefits far outweigh any negatives.
Thank you, Remain. We'll now go on to the Leave side's opening statement.
In 1973, we joined an economic union. The EU is no longer an economic union. The EU used to mean free and fair trade. It now means unelected officials being paid vast sums of money to undemocratically make regulations and restrictions, strike down British law, and impose enough red tape to slowly strangle our small businesses and fishing industry. It once meant Britain had easier access to sell goods abroad, but it now means we're the second largest net contributor to a union with increasing costs and tiny recognisable benefits. The unelected commissioners have slowly expanded, taking more power away from the British elected parliament. We are now in a political union where we're subject to EU laws of which we have almost no say in. We have zero control over our trade policy, which may seem okay as members of the single market, but the common external tariff, which is the other end of the single market stick, means British firms pay much higher prices for non-EU foreign goods, and therefore effectively import inflation. This leaves me at my final point. Do we tie ourselves to these countries? Dreams of riding the economic coattails of Germany or France aren't so rosy when we see that both nations, and several other EU members, are slipping deeper into recessions with huge unemployment. While on the other hand, the US, Australia, Canada and China are booming and pose as possible new partners, our relationship is held back only by the common external tariff and the tough and excessive regulations. Before we decide to shackle ourselves to a crumbling, anti-democratic and stifling empire, should we not consider the possibilities outside the EU? We're one of the largest buyers of German cars, which now more than ever is essential for them, meaning most likely a positive trade deal outcome. Therefore, this is not the end of EU-Britain relations, and despite the threats of tariffs and exclusion, our economic future with them isn't over. We'll have control over our borders, meaning we can keep better track of who is coming and going, and are able to have a stronger job market, which is essential for sustainable growth. The key to understanding Brexit is seeing past the misjudgments by our politicians and the lies made by campaigners. Theresa May's less than reassuring deliverance is again not part of the problem we need to focus on. And the worries over whether she can do it shouldn't distract away from why we need to leave. The issue of whether we can leave the EU can fundamentally only be answered by what the EU is and what leaving would mean for Britain.